How's it going, everybody? I am back. I've got Nabil with me again. What's going on, Nabil?
What up? It was kind of fun hosting without you. Not that we didn't miss you, but me and James had a little bit of creative freedom there and
I liked
a
it.
lot of
I
fun.
honestly, I part of me was like, wow, it was nice to just kind of get to listen and not have to like participate in the creative aspect of it. It was nice. Like honestly, like I'd be down to like take a step back and do that again because like it was yeah, it was nice just to kind of to listen. You guys did great. So I mean, maybe I'm the one holding us back from getting more than a dozen followers, but I'm not going to worry about it too much.
Now we always got to have someone who's like the dad of the podcast, but when you let the kids have fun,
Yeah,
get
I
into a
guess.
little bit of mischief, we piss off league mates, we
All right, well, let's just jump right into what we're here for. Just going to review the draft. I've got a couple ideas for questions we run through, but mostly just trying to figure out, yeah, how everyone's feeling, how you're feeling after the draft about your team, everyone else's team, and maybe look at doing a preview for week one. Not sure. Maybe like a season preview or something like that might be good. But yeah, like we say, let's do it live. So looking at the draft board, all right, we've got the roster view up from Clicky Draft. Obviously, people have already made some trades and have made some other free agent pickups. So this is not accurate as of today, but it was, interesting to see how everyone's roster filled out. Um, what's your biggest takeaway just from looking at everyone's roster?
that rule, and this is kind of the same rapid reaction of what I had with James after Rule 9, is that the Rule 9 is becoming very, very important. And I'm curious to see how it's altered with a third keeper.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of teams that I think are the strongest, just from a glance, had very good Rule 9 drafts.
Right.
Otherwise, I think uh, with a long, maybe it's because of a longer season, or again, people are trying to snag um, some potential keepers at QB. It's interesting to see that we went from a league a couple years ago of everyone's going to go late quarterback to people kind of grabbing their quarterbacks early and potentially getting some of the younger talents. Am I saying that from a bitterness of only having Matt Ryan, and I have Zach Wilson as well, but a little bit. But in the end, it's interesting to see how we're already kind of shifting, especially with an expanded bench, to grabbing depth, and then which changes someone who thought maybe I can get away with much later picks, but it didn't fall that way, which is totally fine. But I think it was a fun draft to kind of go through with everyone again. Being pretty active throughout the entire draft.
Yeah. I mean, as much as everyone was giving you crap too about not getting your quarterback, like you ended up with like a former MVP in
Yeah.
Matt Ryan. Like, like the quarterback is deep. Which is part of why, and we didn't really get I didn't get any of my thoughts really on the podcast about my Rule 9 strategy, but like grabbing Russell Wilson to me was a no-brainer. Like, even though I already have someone who I think could be a top 5 fantasy quarterback, it's like the position is so deep that to me it made sense. Like I'm okay with grabbing a couple of the guys that have a chance to be like one of the elite, like top 3, because that could be a really big factor this year. Like, is having not just like a good quarterback, but having like an elite one. But like, on a week to week basis, like I feel like, any one of the 12 that we have starting like can go off for 25, 30 points.
Yeah, I think as someone who had two pretty good quarterbacks last year, or at least before Joe Burrow got injured, and I think did I also? I feel like I had one more as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, you had
It,
a
it gets it gets a little tricky when having, especially with someone like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers being two big names of like
Mhm.
really high caliber quarterbacks. Um, it'll make it difficult, but it'll also make it fun. Uh, and so, yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just like glancing at everyone's team just now, and it honestly doesn't seem like anyone other than I guess kind of Kevin getting affected by the J.K. Dobbins injury.
Yeah.
Um, Everyone has pretty balanced teams, and was it? It may make for a more fair season moving forward, but we'll. But yeah, I mean, do you have any other like? I mean, did you have any reactions other than maybe a couple chuckles to some of the things that we were saying during Rule 9? Whether it was, you know, maybe questioning certain keeper
Yeah,
choices or
I
anything like
mean,
that.
my biggest takeaway, I mean, and it's he's in my division. I play him week 1, so I've got to look at it quite a bit more. But like Roach's team is stacked. Like as much as I think there might be some more parity amongst everyone else, so like to me, like he clearly came away with the best roster. Like McCaffrey is projected for like
In your
20,
division
right,
or overall?
overall,
Interesting.
overall, like I think Antonio also got a really good team, but like McCaffrey's projected for 27.5 points in week 1. And like that doesn't feel wrong. Like that feels right. Like if he can stay healthy, like the dude just is a PPR machine. Like on top of that, like then Ryan has Aaron Jones, like who's also potentially going to be a top 5 running back like this year in one of the best offenses around, as far as like who's at quarterback, like, and then he has Patrick Mahomes, like who's also just has the potential to put up a ton of points. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan has a week where he like is gunning for the weekly scoring record. Like he just has so much firepower, and like obviously anything can happen, but like he's projected to beat me by 7 or 8 points right now, and he doesn't even have a kicker yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I'm kind of looking at, again, at all the teams trying to figure out where I think because I think the hard part for me right now on joining you on the bandwagon for Rocha coming out with one of the stronger teams is Juju as the second wide receiver. But I guess he is Brandon Cooks, which he's already just a wide receiver 1, regardless of who the quarterback is. You have to assume that Houston's shitty, so they have to throw to even try to stay in games. So he's probably going to be fine. Michael Gallup, if anything happens with Amari Cooper. And then, otherwise the depth I think is kind of hard to look past on his team. But I would agree, having Aaron Jones and McCaffrey are both, 2 first-rounder running backs who are just going to put a whole lot of points on the
Right.
board. Yeah. And top that with Mahomes, right? A bad week for Mahomes is like an average week for Matt Ryan. So, it's hard to see what can happen there, or how that would change. Yeah. I do think, again, and it sucks because he is in my division, Antonio probably walks out with the most well-rounded team personally. I think with the Irv Smith Jr. Yeah, I think he just made a trade, right?
I'd say Antonio is the highest floor out of anybody.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Ryan
absolutely.
Rocha just has the highest ceiling is the only difference that I'm but like and in my opinion they're the best 2 rosters also.
Yeah, I would say that. I think everyone else, like I said, is just generally pretty well rounded. I don't think there's any. I think it's gonna be hard, Kevin, for depth on running back, right? Because just getting kind of screwed with J.K. Dobbins there, I mean, Drew has a lot of depth, questionable depth considering Xavier Jones just got cut. I believe. I think both Olesen and Jones are cut. They're no longer on their teams. So, but Gus Edwards in there as like the third back for him should be pretty good. Mike Davis is just going to get a bunch of touches. So, and I think honestly, you're looking at the rosters now. It's only going to impact maybe the first 2 to 3 weeks. We make enough changes and we're up with enough news that, yeah, I think anyone can recover from where they are. I don't think anyone failed. I think there was definitely some interesting picks.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
So here's the standard board view if you're watching on YouTube. So it just skip left to right in each round. These are the picks. Which one were you talking? Which was it?
I'm going to jump straight to Kevin with Jonathan Taylor. I think it threw a lot of people off that he jumped all the way to 4. I don't think it's necessarily, I don't think it's a bad pick, right? Pretty much once you're past the top 3, I think, and with the number of other talented keepers off the board already, I don't think it's crazy per se. I think I would have preferred Elliott or Harris there. I'm slipping, but I'm personally slipping on the Colts in general.
I am too.
Yeah. Their health is a huge concern, not just with COVID, but with just injury history. For some reason, they're kind of reminding me of the Niners. You know how the Niners are just always plagued by injury? Like the Colts are kind of the AFC version of that. That was surprising to me personally.
Yeah, I'm out on the Colts as well. I'm whether it's the Confidence Bowl, I'm going to put Seattle as my number 1 or the most points on Seattle to win week 1. Like I do this eliminator challenge every year on ESPN where you just pick like one team to win, and then you can't pick them again the rest of the season. Like I'm picking Seattle over the Colts in that. But I don't know, like that doesn't mean one player can't have a good season. So it's right. Essentially Kevin's going with just against the grain of what is the consensus pick. But, there's he was either going to, there was the only time he was going to be able to get Taylor.
Exactly.
If you wanted him to go for it. It was surprising because you would think just that was the first time it kind of broke from consensus rankings, but yeah, like definitely a good pick. It surprised me.
Do you want to maybe just like not necessarily go through every round with choosing every player, but like quickly, like, all right, is there anyone else in the first round that kind of surprised you? And then we just go through, and then if there's nothing much to say, just move on.
I was basically going to say that about honestly the end of the first round, like when James took DeAndre Hopkins at the end of the first, I thought that might have been someone that was worth taking with his second pick, because that was pick 2-1 to get that extra, like to actually get that keeper value. But then when he took DeAndre Swift, I was like, no, that's a good call. Like, absolutely good choice on that. Like, because I think the running back is a better chance to be a, like a top 4 or 5 pick next year, where he can like move back in the first round and take him. But honestly, like, I feel like Hopkins still has a lot left in the tank, and he could easily be worth a first round keeper next year too. So I definitely thought it was interesting at the end of 1, but then immediately, like James, I thought was like, that was the right call with that order.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily have any like, cause the second round was tricky this time, right? We had a lot of keepers in that round. And I didn't have a pick. I already had my keeper there. I'm not gonna lie, there was a point where the draft actually was falling the way I generally was thinking. And it hurt a lot once I saw James Snake Woods right before me, because that's who I actually wanted to start my team with. I still feel okay with Amari Cooper. He's one of those, I don't know about you, and this may be a sidebar on this, but like Amari Cooper, I just feel like he's just not the shiniest thing. And like, I know CeeDee Lamb's there, but like, he's still really good. He's still really young. I think he's only 27. So he's not like, but he's just a name that's kind of always been out there. He had a couple injury seasons, but like, I don't know why. Like, I think he's a viable tool. He's still talented. Like, a lot of people respect Amari Cooper as a wide receiver. And it's just so interesting to me in the fantasy community. I feel like he just kind of,
He's just never had that like giant, like 30 to 40 point game, where it's just like, I think his big games, it's like 2025. It's just, and that's kind of just, that might be totally wrong, just kind of like from what I like remember.
But he's not memorable.
But yeah, like I don't ever remember being like, oh yeah, Amari Cooper like was, like a league winner, like that was like, he was on a lot of playoff rosters, but it's not necessarily like him is the, like, he's not the only reason that you want a title, like he's like a good like fantasy football role player, which is weird because you really just you know, like you just want everyone to score as many points as possible, but like he just does his job, you know. It's like Mari Cooper, like 15 points, solid, cool, every week. And then, you know, maybe a 20 every once in a while. So yeah, he's a very good player. He's consistent when he's not injured. But at least that's kind of my thought on him. But yeah, like I just don't ever think of him as being the like, oh, like Devonte Adams, like could score 45 points.
Yeah, and what's weird is because I was sitting there, I was staring at either Cooper Cup or Julio Jones is really my other options there, and I just couldn't see Cooper Cup. I think is you can, you know, pretty much down the line whether it's going to be Cooper Cup or Woods, depending on if you want. We're a full point PPR. I just feel like Woods gets more receptions, but Cooper is kind of, I feel like, the big play guy, like the touchdowns, the big yardage, and so I mean that I guess if I really cared about having a Rams player, I would have gone that way. But just kind of looking at the rest of that third round, I think it just kind of all fell where I don't think there's anything overly surprising, maybe other than Melvin Gordon going before the rookie, just because I feel like ADP wise, like I feel like Gordon had kind of slipped a bit. I'm looking at the tail end of the third there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it.
No, I mean, I think we have such a unique league that I can't say that enough that it really at this point grab the guys you want because there's no way.
But when you said the rookie, did you mean Michael Carter or did you mean like
no, so Javonte Williams, who I ended up picking up on their turnaround there. But
yeah, I mean,
which I was stoked because I do think he could have a big year, and if I could get him as a third round keeper, it'd be nice. But
that's what I really love Hoyt's pick of Thielen in the fourth round. That's probably my favorite pick of the draft, to be honest.
Is that just from having at least someone who is a veteran to kind of hold the team together?
I mean, look, there's like, I know Thielen in Minnesota, like it's not necessarily the best fit for him. And, you know, he's not necessarily been, you know, the elite guy that he was before, but like, you know, he's got to, if he gets put in the right situation next year, like he could be right back in the mix of being a like end of the first, early second round pick in redraft, where for us means like that's great value to have him as a third round keeper. Like I really like there's a lot of potential for that, I think. And if that happens, like on the flip side too, like the dude has played, you know, a lot of really good football for a long time, and like he could be the kind of guy that is that Amari Cooper for Hoyt. Just like, yeah, he's getting 10, 15 points every week, no matter what.
Yeah, I think he sits there. I think he's kind of high floor, low ceiling kind of. I don't think he's going to blow the roof off. FYI, just to only counter your point, you know, makes the show a little bit more entertaining.
Go ahead.
Adam Thielen's 31. And I would see he's having more injuries, and you notice more and more as injuries pick up, especially on wide receivers, that they tend to fall off a cliff. I don't think the cliff is necessarily this season. I just don't see it being prolonged, and I don't see a team that would view him as a wide receiver one. So for him to make a leap into the first, second round, but he's a good option, I think, in the fourth round in a league like ours, where especially this year, so many wide receivers were kept that you really don't have an option. So as far as what was available, I think Thielen was a great pick.
I like it. What I'm kind of looking through even like fifth round, sixth round. Honestly, like I wasn't paying attention a ton during the draft to this point.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Look, I will go one more. I don't need to be talking my draft.
Go ahead.
But look, I said it. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me three times. I don't know what the end of that is going to be, but I am going to go for Odell. I cannot, and maybe correct my craziness, but like he is also kind of like, he's got to be in his late 20s. Bad injury year on a year that was disappointing because he was on a new team, maybe didn't have chemistry.
Yeah.
But like he can't be like, he's so talented that it can't be that he's going to be bad again.
No.
Right?
Look, I like the pick. To me, it's the same thing. I think as Thielen, just a little bit of a different situation and just a little bit of different personality on like who they are, which is why I think it's right that Odell fell a little bit more, just because Odell's had like more like personnel issues, like the way, like just like that's all. Like there's to me, like that makes him a little bit less likely to like pan out and become that like top 3 round player again, like Thielen. But like the talent is clearly there. Like Odell he made the best catch of all time of any sport of anything ever. Like he's got the potential to do the exact same thing Thielen did, in my opinion. Like, and so also a great pick. And I forgot that was in the 5th round. Like, so my bad for missing that. What else?
So in the 6th, I think is interesting, right? The 6th, we got our first quarterback drafted with Antonio, Justin Herbert. I actually think that was a totally fine time to pull the trigger on a quarterback. Unfortunately, like most things. Well, I guess if you look at the board, maybe it wasn't that bad, but that usually tends to trigger everyone else starting to pull some of the bigger names, or not bigger names, but popular names. And so I think that was good. I think you got a young talent. Hopefully he rides kind of that same wave of success from the previous season. It sucks because I'm going to have to go against it, but especially since I have Eckler. So it's one of those that like, if Justin Herbert throws a touchdown, it better be to Eckler. That's what I'll be praying for. But I think that was a good pick, but it did start the trend kind of moving forward at
that point. 5 picks after Devin took Matthew Stafford, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 picks after that, Dak Prescott came off the board, and then then Tannehill immediately after that. So then a whole round before Joe Burrow went. So it started a mini run for sure. We got 4 quarterbacks taken in like what was that, 13 picks or so. Like,
Chris, are you reading the snake board right?
This is the standard board, not snake board. So snake board, now it wraps this way.
Got it. That makes more sense.
Standard board, it's all left to right.
Nice. I've been reading this wrong, but cool. I thought we were reading the other one. That's always fun. Leave it in. No editing. We're doing it live. Yeah, I think with like Dak Prescott, then I actually think that was another great steal, and it went to Hunter. And that's why I think Hunter is one of those teams that I know we mentioned Rocha and Antonio. I do really like Hunter's team this year. I think he got a lot of values in Rule 9. So
I'd say he has the 3rd best roster. Like it's Rocha, Antonio, Hunter, in my opinion.
Hunter, don't over deal. Don't wheel and deal too much. Keep your team structured. Diamond hands.
All right, where else are we? Anything else jump out at you? I'm even looking for
no, there's another name, and we totally went by it that threw me off a little bit. And it's actually what I was trying to kind of start when I was like, oh yeah, when did the quarterback trend start? Logan Thomas in the 5th round by Kevin. Hey, we joke about this every time. Kevin knows something we don't.
Yeah,
I know he's actually really talented, and he got a bunch of praise over this preseason as well. But I'm just like, I don't know if I ever want to be the one to start the trend. I mean, clearly I end trends when it comes to quarterback, but I think with Logan Thomas, I think that he could have waited and kind of maybe generated more depth. But then again, I'm like looking at who's on the board. Maybe there were no wide receivers. He got Corey Davis later, so maybe that's who he really wanted and knew he could wait. It's just that was the one that was interesting to me, because then a lot more tight ends also came off kind of after the Robert Tonyan and Higbee, that I was looking for.
Well, Kevin, there were a lot of tight ends that went in Rule 9, and so I think it's just a matter of Kevin wanted to make sure he got somebody that he wanted.
Yeah.
So it's and I don't know when his next pick would have been. It might have been a while. Let's see.
No, he had Corey Davis.
Yeah, he got Corey Davis, in the next round. So yeah, I don't hate it. Like it is definitely makes me wonder, like, what does Kevin know that I don't? Yeah, we'll see how it how it pans out. But he got the guy he wanted.
Yeah, because it's just like, and this is, hindsight's 2020, but knowing that he has kind of depth issues, interesting that he went tight end before grabbing an additional depth at running back.
Yeah, agreed. Another pick that I actually for the same reason as the Thielen and Salute, as Thielen. Thank you. And for those of you who are not watching YouTube, Nabil muted himself and sneezed, and I just thought it was funny. So thank you.
Just a true professional. And he threw me under. I hit the freaking cough button.
Yeah, it made me chuckle. I had to share. Michael Thomas in the 8th round, like again, same reasoning, later round. Like it's just he's gonna be worth more than that next year.
Yeah. I think that it was funny because I started noticing him kind of creep towards me. I mean, I had some time, but I guess I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, and I was just like, oh, please, if he could fall to me, even though that kind of hurts my depth at the week 1 start. Mm-hmm. Michael Thomas is gonna. He is talented. That's it. He is like, I think he's an elite wide receiver. Maybe actually Hoyt would be super lucky if he changes teams, because I think currently he might be kind of hurt by the quarterback play. But then again, Winston kept Godwin and Evans afloat while he was there. So yeah, I think that is a great steal. Let's just hope Hoyt doesn't waste those years.
Winston might not be a great quarterback, but he's great for fantasy receivers because he's going to get 300 yards and 6 picks, but like, he's going to get a couple touchdowns in there too.
Those picks don't hurt wide receivers or running backs.
They do not at all. And then they get the ball back, and then they got to try to score again. So they're throwing it deep. So he's unique in that situation where it's like his chaotic nature, I think, helps his teammates out. Let's see what anything else. Oh, well, now that we know because of the injury, the Gus Edwards pick in the 9th round is going to be killer for Drew. Definitely have to not much really to say there, but definitely have to point that out.
And I think this is this is so weird because we're only in the 9th, but this is where we really start to see a huge separation of like getting the big important pieces for your team. Mm-hmm. Who are still viable, right? Because I think Gus Edwards, again, whatever, we didn't know what was going to happen, was still one of those, he can get the goal line touches, great flex play. And I know that I was keeping my eye out on him if he fell to me at all. But that's great now because he will be the de facto starter there. And I think they're going through whoever's left on free agency or waivers, trying to pick up a couple people to maybe back him up. But Gus Edwards, the Gus bus, he's going to be someone who could help propel Giroux through the beginning part of the season as everyone kind of settles into what their teams are looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of looking forward a little bit. Other picks that just kind of stood out to me. Hunter getting a 3rd Raider, adding to Waller and to Jacobs was definitely interesting. However, I mentioned it to him like at the draft, and I kind of want to share my thought here. Is like he didn't reach for any of them though. Like he got them all like with good value. It's weird to have 2 pass catchers in the same team and the running back. Like you're not really stacking, so I don't know how he gets all of them regular play. I know he's been wheeling and dealing. I'm not even sure if all of them are still on his team at this point. But just it was just interesting, but I didn't hate any of the picks. And then is Philip Lindsay the same thing as my as my point on Thielen? Like where like Philip Lindsay's got a great chance to be worth more than a 10th round pick next year.
I'm going to disagree. I'd rather you stick with your point on Michael Thomas because I don't agree with your point on Adam Thielen. But yes, Philip Lindsay's one that's interesting. That's another. I get he went to Houston. Houston at this point is where careers go to die. And that's a hard place to go as a running back. But he did kind of play a pass catching back, at least in the initial part of his career with the Broncos. And then like kind of became the hot commodity and like the hot hand against Melvin Gordon, why wouldn't he have success? I've always kind of liked the guy. So hopefully he does succeed. That is someone else that Hoyt can definitely utilize at the very least during bye weeks. So no, I mean, I agree. He's like the Michael Thomas example that you keep bringing up.
Yeah. Fine, the Michael Thomas example. I just gotta point out too. I've got another. The last time I drafted an Indianapolis Colts player who had a neck injury in the preseason, it was the infamous Andrew Luck saga, causing me to drop Juju Smith-Schuster, who would have still be on my roster today because of the keeper value he would have had.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm bummed for TY to go down so quickly. Like that's kind of part of why I'm so low on the Colts this year. It's like, dude, even their veterans, like not a like former star, like isn't healthy. Like, yeah, it's not looking good.
Yeah, I think another good steal if we're looking kind of in the 9, 10, 11 round, and it's annoying as hell, is James, our other co-host who's not here. Jarvis Landry. That was one of those, like I think I always look forward to every draft that I'm in, obviously ours more than others. But that like one pick that gets the entire room to go like, good. I feel like there was a little bit of that moment with Landry. Yeah. And it's true. He slipped to the 10th, easily the second guy to OBJ. And if I'm wrong on OBJ, it's the Landry show again. Like, wasn't Landry, I feel like he must have been it as a wide receiver 2 or 3 at the end of the season. Right. So to get him in the 10th, that's going to be great, especially, maybe he just wants to use him as, a trade possibility later for people who are looking for a more stable wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the pick. Like I think there's a lot of good value there, and especially I don't know how many other receivers James has, but it felt like very low risk to grab Landry.
So I decided to look at that because I was kind of curious, right? He's got 6 wide receivers. You don't necessarily have to change it unless you want to. He's on the far right. He's got DeAndre Hopkins, Woods, Julio Jones as his 3rd wide receiver, and Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, no, Calvin Ridley
and Chenault and Landry. Landry's his 6th wide receiver.
Yeah, real quick, just the way Clicky Draft does this is just like whatever round they were in, even if they were like kept, is how it fills it in. So that's why Ridley's not is at the flex spot instead, or not even starting. Yeah. Anyway, so
okay. But regardless, I mean, looking at that is a squad that he can easily pawn off to someone who maybe is plagued by an injury, or say maybe Rocha wants to improve Juju. If Juju doesn't, kind of take the next step, he might be, or, Cooks isn't working out, or Brown, he might be able to look over there. He's got a great team, and it's always annoying that he does so
well. I don't think it's annoying.
It's annoying when everyone's doing well and you're not winning the cup. That's why it's annoying. That's just life.
Good point. Okay. What else we got here then? I think I didn't realize. Make the screen. Oh, nice. See all arounds. Cool. Other favorite pick though of the draft for me had to be another Hoyt pick. And I know I'm jumping quite a few rounds here, but in the 15th round when Hoyt took Justin Tucker, 1 pick before Travis.
Yeah.
Just the ultimate troll move, Hoyt. That was well played. Like that favorite moment of the draft for sure for me was that pick. Like that was awesome.
It's the point of the draft where the energy is kind of also kind of not gone, right?
Not gone.
We're all kind of getting to a point where we're like, all right, we're in the kicker defense time.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden he pulls that, and you can just tell everyone already knew the impact that it had. There was a bunch of like kind of chatter. It was a good pick. And like, why not? It's the 15th. You're at a point where you're either going for broke on some like crazy random person like Juju Smith-Schuster, his, freshman year or first year in the league. But
saw him play at the Coliseum, man. I knew he was gonna be legit. That's That's all.
Yeah, I think
at USC, he was great. Like, I was like, that dude's gonna be good in the NFL. I knew I was going to draft him like while he was still in college. So I was like, I'm gonna get this guy. Like he's known. Oh, yeah, so. And then I dropped him because the Colts lied about Andrew Luck's health.
Yeah,
Hold on to
I
Andrew
have
Luck
to
for a
say,
couple of weeks instead of.
I feel like I give this one guy too much of a hard time. So I do want to say that I do like Travis's last two picks. I think Hunter Renfrow, with everything that's going on,
Yeah,
like they cut John Brown, right? The Henry Ruggs is, was their first round pick, but like speedsters always have problems. I think Hunter Renfrow could be like a Wes Welker, who Julian Edelman type for the Raiders, and then he's got a viable option in the flex. And I actually just like Hunter Renfrow from watching Hard Knocks, right? Like he just
right.
I mean, I brought this up last year. I'll bring it up again. He's the Alex Caruso of the NFL. Did I get that name right? Okay, good. You're staring at me. I'm like, I hope I got that name right.
Talking about the guy who looks like he's like a 40-year-old accountant.
The white guy on the Lakers who fucking balls. My other pick I really do like, just to touch on, is I was looking at it, was the I don't even know, Amon-Ra St. Brown from Detroit, who could easily step in as the number one. Goff's not amazing, but he has to throw to someone. So I do like those two picks. I don't say nice things enough about Travis. I think those are going to be two solid players that you can definitely keep longer than Christian Kirk.
Let's end it there because I really don't have anything else to add on to here. I feel like we've talked for a while, but that's the recap of the draft. Maybe we'll have to do an actual preview before everything gets started, which is this Thursday. So get your lineup set before Thursday because the Bucks are playing somebody. Who's Tampa Bay? Matter. Football's back. That's all.
Yeah, football's back. Okay, hold on. This is that. Let's end on this actual note. I can't be.
Yeah. Let's wrap that up, and we're headed towards the finish line. What else you got for me?
Okay, here we go. First one is who scores the highest week one. You want to actually put money on this?
No, because I think it's Rocha. Like he's projected. Okay. Again, he's projected for like 138.
Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna go Antonio.
All right.
Okay, who wins the Splatty League maybe not just based on their draft, like, who had the best draft? No, who wins the league based on what we see from the draft?
Who wins the league based on...
And pull yourself out so that, we know it's you or we know it's me, but because I think mine's going to be bold.
I'm going to... Who wins the league? Who wins the league?
Okay, I'm just gonna go while you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm trying not. Rocha's got the best team. I'm so sick of Rocha. Go ahead.
I'm going Hunter.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Hunter. I mean, Hunter does have a very good team. Don't fuck it up.
Is this the the year?
He'll need to figure out. I do think a little bit of what he ends up doing, or like how Josh Jacobs performs, or if Tariq Cohen even plays. But other than that, like, I do think he's got some depth at running back, which I think is the most important. Otherwise, I think his team is very good. Don't let me down, Hunter. If I don't have a chance, you better goddamn win this. My pride is on the line.
All right, let's wrap it up there. Nabil, thanks for hanging out with me. Everyone else, thanks for listening. Tell your friends. Let's get this, this up to 20 views on YouTube.
We just need to get picked up as personalities if we do this for our career.
Oh yeah, we'll have to put an actual like network together and everything. Have different dedicated regular shows, but that's one thing at a time.
All right. Well, on that note, peace out. Good luck, everyone. Let's have a good year.
Yeah, absolutely.